Hello everyone. As the live stream title says, I will be reviewing Fall of Giants by Ken Follett. Yeah, that's how you pronounce his name. And I decided to turn this into a live stream because I just have a lot to say about this book and others like it that I've read. So I decided to make this into a live stream because, well, for one thing, I don't have a lot of video on my iPad. I don't have a lot of video capability, and I didn't want it to be, if it's really long, then stuff happens with iMovie, and it's just, I thought it'd be better to make it into a live stream just for, I think it'd be a lot more convenient, and then I would have the picture in the thumbnail. This is part of the Century trilogy, and my mother actually got me into this book. She thought I might like it, and she bought it in print, and she saw how long it was, and she was like, no, I'm getting this in audio. And so she got an Audible account, and we're sharing, like, we're on the Amazon Prime thing, so we are sharing the, we're sharing the Amazon Prime thing, so I actually got her audiobook, and she gets all of my 45 audiobooks. So, it works. And this is a very long book. That's one reason I would recommend you reading it on audio, and I think maybe if you had it on audio, like on your phone or something like that, or I had it on the iPad, it'd be a lot easier for you to carry, or if you had it in an ebook, it'd be a lot easier to carry, because it is 30 hours long, so it's a huge book, probably. I haven't seen it, but it's 30 hours long in audio, so I'm pretty sure it's a huge book. I'm 100% sure it's a huge book. What are we saying? There's no debate. It's a huge book because it's 30 hours long on audio. And, okay, this book takes place during World War I and a little bit afterwards, and it focuses on different families. So you have, okay, I'm going to try and get this right, guys, because there's a lot of families, there's a lot of characters. So you have a family, a poor Welsh mining family in Wales, and then you have an aristocratic family also in Wales, and then you have two Russian brothers, like they're a family in Russia, and then you have an American who works for the president, who at this time is Woodrow Wilson, and lastly you have a German family, and they're all caught up in World War I throughout the book, and they all kind of come together in some ways in different parts, and just how they're all connected in some ways, which I really liked. I really like books where characters kind of come together. I thought, without giving too much away, I thought that they would come together more than they did. I thought they would all, like, everyone would meet up, but they really didn't. Some of them did, and some of them didn't. I thought they would all, like, be congregating together at one point, but which they kind of do, but not all together. But they do come together in some way, and in different ways, I guess you would say. So this book is really, really good. There's a lot of twists and turns and a lot of just different things going on in history through a historical lens. There's a lot going on. Women want the right to vote. The world war's going on. Just women's rights in general during Britain. They really focused on women's rights, and by the end of the book they only got halfway. I think Britain didn't have the right to vote. Women's suffrage in Britain is 1928, so they haven't even gotten the right to vote. Like, all women did not get the right to vote, even when this book ends. And it was just interesting, the things that women couldn't do, like, women they were supposed to be chaperoned, and you couldn't go anywhere without a chaperone, but now it's like completely different, and which is a good thing. And when the revolution hit, they talk about that and how just the craziness that ensued whenever the Russian Revolution hit was really interesting to read about. I knew a little bit of that because I read a lot about that, but I've always read through a nobility's point of view, and to them it was horrible, but to the people that had been oppressed for so long, they were just so overjoyed to be free, from the Tsarist rule. So this is one of the first times that I've read more about the more non-nobility side of the Russian Revolution, because I've always heard about it through a Russian nobility side, but this is from the two brothers. They are they work in a factory, so they're not as well off, and so that was really interesting. And I'm really glad I got this book, and I'm glad I didn't have to pay for it. Thanks, Mom. Well, she paid for it with her credit, but I still got it, okay, anyway, yeah, and I liked how just you had totally different viewpoints, and I think he really does a good job at, showing these different viewpoints through these different characters, because you might have two people in the same family that are completely different, but they're in the same family and they're kind of in the same situation, but they're completely different, which I really enjoy. And I really love it. I've read a lot of books in the past where people are connected, like they become connected, and I really like that. I know I read a trilogy which I really liked. It was called The Nannies, and it was kind of about three girls that they're all become nannies, and at one point they end up meeting up and becoming friends. And I know kind of Full Metal Alchemist is like that with the homunculi, and I always like that. I don't know why, but I do really enjoy stories where the characters they end up kind of becoming connected in some ways. This is a really good book. I mean, I've heard so much stuff about that. Like, I was talking to my friends about that book, and they were like, oh, I heard that's really good, and I couldn't stop listening to it. It was really cool. I actually woke up a couple of days ago, and I was really tired, but I couldn't sleep, and I ended up listening to some of it. I didn't finish the whole thing. I literally just finished it like 30 minutes ago, but a couple of nights ago I was intrigued by it, and I asked my Echo to play it, and I was really tired I got to read Fall of Giants, so I guess that was good. And I do want to read more. I'm probably not going to read I'm probably not going to read it back to back to back. I want to read something else, but because it was so long, but I am going to finish the series. There's no doubt about that. I am going to finish the series. And it was just, you could tell he really did his research through all aspects of what was going on in the different time periods, and then not the same time period, but in the different periods and in the different places and just the different class system. Like in Britain, there was still that class system, and people were really getting kind of sick of that. You know, the monarchy's still going today, but the people were really just getting sick of all that, and it showed that they could have even had a revolution on their hands if they wouldn't have been careful. If they would have just ignored it, they would have had a revolution on their hands, maybe. But yeah, if you're into historical fiction, I'd recommend this book. It does get kind of confusing about like who's who, and there's times when you're like, wait, what happened to the other character or whatever. But yeah, but this is a really good book, and I am going to finish the series. There's no doubt about that. Now, if you've read the series, what do you think about it? I'd like to know. And yeah, okay, I have to say who my favorite character is. Well, out of each family, I'm going to go by each family. My favorite character in the Russian family is Gregory, and my favorite one in the Welsh mining family, I guess, is Ethel, and my favorite character in the aristocratic family is none of them. That's really bad. And my favorite character, well, the American's only one family, so I really like the American, Gus, and I really like Walter as well. There's only a couple characters. There's only a couple, but out of, yeah. Oh god, that scared me. Okay, okay. I can't let okay, my phone's ringing. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, but that is all I want to say about this book. And I'm sorry that this wasn't I thought it was going to be a longer live stream, but I guess we're talking about a book and you don't want to give too much away. And I just I didn't want to do scam baiting because they haven't been entertaining. So if you've read this book, I'm sure you have, because I found out that I didn't know who the author was until my mom told me, and she said that he's a famous, he's written a lot of books. My mom thought he described things too much, but for me, I didn't mind the description. But there's really nothing bad I could say about this book. I think if I were to say something bad, I can't really think of it off the top of my head, and it would be really, really, really nitpicky. But overall, I really enjoyed this book, and if you've read this book, let me know in the comment section. I really would like to know. Okay, sorry for the short live stream. Bye, guys.